Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Zhengkong. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Tupten Dorji. Homage to the main deity of the group practice today, Padma Kumara. And the Bao Yi youth and the Bao Sang youth. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Simu, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma instructors, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples present here and over the internet. And our participating VIPs today are very simple, only three.
中华民国驻瑞典兼挪威代表廖东州大使夫人 Judy
the Madam wife to the Ambassador Daniel Liao, the Taipei rep to Sweden and Norway, Dharma Sister Judy, and the accountant to Buddha School, Dharma Sister Teresa, and producers for the Geni Densang Shinten, the Illuminating Your Heart from CDI TV Taiwan, Dharma Sister Rebecca Shiachi. Good evening, everybody. How do you do?
你好，大家好。那我们今天是做这个莲花童子本尊法的。
Today, we performed the deity yoga of Padma Kumara.
那大家会问我，这个为什么世尊没有穿白色的？
And maybe you would ask why Grandmaster is not wearing white, because there are many colors to Padma Kumaras, of all different colors. So today I'm wearing red. It's still Padma Kumara. I remember I've talked about this before. At the time of the pure light Buddha, the pure light Buddha, there was a king that's called the Great Wei-De, or actually the Great Majestic and Virtuous King. Have you heard of it? Some have not. So this king, Da Wei-De, was recorded in the Sakyamuni Buddha's life records, that at the time Sakyamuni Buddha was performing a bodhisattvahood in the Saha world. And in one of his lifetimes, he was the king Da Wei-De, or the same as Yamantaka. And he walked to a lotus pond, by the lotus pond, and they, all of a sudden, two lotus blossoms bloomed, and two youths were born from the lotus blossoms. One of them was called the Bao Yi youth, and the other one is Bao Sang youth. So at that time, this king was mulling over the issues of human life. So this Bao Yi and Bao Sang youths told the king, let me bring you to see the pure light Buddha. He would be able to help you to resolve all kinds of issues with the human life. So at this time, the king Dawei listened to the Bao Yi and Bao Sang youths that were born from the lotus to go see pure light Buddha. And the pure light Buddha instructed the king where you came from at birth and where you go at death, and what is the human life for, what you're doing in your life, and how to resolve your afflictions and disturbing emotions. So pure light Buddha taught the king Dawei how to resolve the afflictions and how to cultivate spiritually. So he gained a lot. The king learned a lot. So just now, I recited 3 Padma Kumaras. So they were all born from lotus. So the Bao Yi youth, Bao Sang youth, and Padma Kumara. And they are all lotus youth. They are all lotus borns. So at that era, prior to Sakyamuni Buddha attaining Buddhahood, and Bao Yi and Bao Sang, lotus youth, already existed before Sakyamuni Buddha attained Buddhahood. And in the Donghuang caves, it was also recorded the era of the king Dawei and his meeting with the Padma Kumara. Let me talk a little more about it. When the Adharma Buddha transmitted the Mahamudra of Kagyupa, first he transmitted to the first patriarch of Mahamudra. What was he called? I have talked about this before. All the masters. Do you know? And all the Dharma instructors, Dharma teachers, anybody knows? So Adharma Buddha transmitted Mahamudra to the first lineage guru of the Kagyupa, of Mahamudra Kagyupa. Who was he? Everybody is very quiet. Silence is golden. And that's the Bao Sang youth. So that's Bao Sang and Bao Yi, lotus youth. So Adharma Buddha transmitted Mahamudra to Padma Kumara. That was the first patriarch. I've talked about this before, yes. But how come you didn't say anything? You forgot?
开始的时候讲道果都有讲了。
Yeah. At the beginning of the Lamdre exposition,
你们
I have
每一个
talked
光
about
头
it.
难道都是石头吗？
How come are you? The shift heads are
每一个光头
rocks.
看起来都圆圆的石头。
They look like round rocks.
但是有时候是有的时候是重看不重吃。
Sometimes it's good to look at, but not good to be
所以莲花
eaten.
童子，我告诉大家，莲花童子，
So let me tell you,
他就已经跟阿达尔玛佛在一起。
that Padmakumara is together with the Adharma Buddha already.
阿达尔玛佛这个本初佛传法给莲花，大手印法传给。
Otherwise, how could Adharma Buddha transmitted Mahamudra to Padmakumara?
莲花童子的来历
How could that be possible?
根本像莲花
So the
上大师
origin
来讲起来
of Padmakumara,
已经是乌
like
生第二
Padmasambhava,
第二个佛了。
he was the second Buddha from Udayana.
那大家稍微想一想，他会是五六地的菩萨
So
吗？
think about
菩
it.
萨有10地，
How
他会
could
是
he
五
be
地六地
a
的菩萨吗？
bodhisattva of the 5th or 6th ground? Because of all the bodhisattva who there, a total of 10 grounds.
阿达尔玛佛是本初佛，
Adharma Buddha is the primordial Buddha,
跟宝上童子，
and he transmitted Mahamudra to the
这么
Bao
简
Yi
单
and Bao
这么
Sang
简单的
youth
关系
who were all lotus youth.
那是莲花童子，真的是不一样的。我看过的莲
That's
花
the relationship. So lotus youths are really outstanding.
看得到吗？
And I have really seen Padmakumara. Can you see it? Can you see him?
白色的光
What I
灿
saw
烂的非
was
常
a
灿烂，
really,
没
really
有什么
bright
形象的。
and brilliant white light with no form whatsoever.
瑶池金母指着那一个
And Golden
光明
Mother
灿烂
pointed to that
那一
bright,
尊
brilliant,
看不到形象的那一尊，
radiant,
这一尊就是莲花
formless, intangible light, and said, this
看
deity
不到形象，
is
看不到形象。
Padmakumara. I couldn't see his form.
最初带我去看的，到了马哈双莲池，
At the very
看那个莲
beginning,
花童子
when she brought me to go to Mahatwin Lotus Ponds to see Padmakumara, he was very, very bright and has no form whatsoever.
那现在雕出来的莲花童子啊，雕出来的莲花
And the statues that we
有
carve
的是依照
for
世尊的
Padmakumaras
然后就
were
做出来，
based on
有
Grandmaster's
些是
face.
有些是
Some of them were based on Grandmaster's face,
一位去请人家画出莲花童子出来。
and some were based on the painting
事实上
by someone
没有什
in
么
Hong
形象
Kong.
没有什么形
But
象
in reality, they have no form.
所以莲花童子本身，今天我们修莲花童子本尊法，
So
大家也应该知道
today we practice
莲
Padmakumara
花童
as
子
the main
在释
deity.
迦牟尼佛还没有成
We
佛
all
之
should
前
know that prior to Sakyamuni Buddha
释
attaining
迦牟尼
Buddhahood,
佛在行菩萨道，
when Sakyamuni Buddha was
大
walking
为
on the
德王
Bodhisattva
就是
path,
释迦牟尼佛的前世，
he was
那
the
时候
king
就
大卫
已经有
德
莲花童
or
子
King
从莲
Yamantaka,
花出现，然后带引
and at that
大卫
time
德
there
王
were
体
already
现净光
lotus youths that appeared from the lotus blossoms
很早了。
and brought him to meet pure light
而
Buddha.
莲花童子
That was
是
long
比
ago.
释迦牟尼佛成佛还要早的莲花童子。
So lotus youth of Padmakumara was the youth that were earlier than Sakyamuni's Buddha's attaining Buddhahood. So it's very simple. It can be explained. And with regard to what X claimed about the fireflies in New Zealand that had been waiting for X for 110,000 years, that's even longer time. But think about it. Check your cell phones. How long can a firefly live? You don't consult, but check on your cell phone. The fireflies in New Zealand is a point of interest for tourists, and Grandmasters has been there too. They were like stars, sparkling, blinking. You cannot make any sounds, you can only see. It was really a nice point of interest to see. We were on the boats, and inside the caves were filled with the fireflies. But 110 years ago, were the caves did the caves exist? They've been waiting for her for 110,000 years. That's really long. Especially the firefly live a very short life. They were waiting for her Bardo deliverance. Their souls gathered and said they want deliverance, Bardo deliverance from X. A firefly's life is from 10 days to 2 months. So the great-grandpa tells the grandpa tells the father tells the son tells the grandson, and the grandson tells the great-grandson, generations after generations, for 110,000 years, in order to tell her that they've been waiting for her for 110,000 years. Could that be possible? And of course, the fireflies can talk to the other fireflies, and then they talk for generations. But the question is, do fireflies have that wisdom? But let me talk about what the Dharma educator Jia Xing talked about. She went to Dharma Sisters Jia Xing's chapter to propagate Buddha Dharma, and someone invited her to stay at the 5-star hotel and took her to check in. And when they opened the door to the room, there was a fly that came down from the ceiling, and the donor was about to take care of the spider, and X said, "Please wait, this spider was a brother from your past life, and it's been waiting for you for a long time." So the donor hearing that,
这个人啊，我这个人都不知道
thought
蜘蛛是我前世的哥哥。
that
可见
I,
这
as
只
a
蜘蛛
human
的修
being,
行，
did not know that the
他
spider
都知
is
道我是前世他
a
的。
brother of my past life.
那这
But
只
the
蜘蛛
spider
它
knew.
有智
So
慧，
the spiritual
能够
cultivation of
知
the
道
spider is better
进
than
来的
mine
这个就是他前世的弟弟，
because the spider
有他的智
had
慧，他只是一只蜘蛛，
how could the spider have the wisdom to know
而
that
且
this
知道
person that's
这
coming
个人
is
是他
a
就是他
brother
前世的
from
弟
the
弟。
past life
当初的时候，这个
through
人就想
spiritual
到这个问题，
cultivation? So this donor thought of this
我并不
already
是
at
蜘
that
蛛。
time, that I'm worse than
对
the
呀，
spider.
你自己想想，人
So
都
think
不知
about
道
it,
这一只猪只
that
是
the
他前
human
世的哥
being,
哥。
the person does not
他
even
既
know or
然
did
知
not
道
even know that the spider
跟
was
蜘
his
蛛跟他
brother
讲，
from
我
past
是
life.
他前世的
But the spider knew
啊哥哥，
that
那
he
那个人
was
就是他的弟弟了。
his brother from the past life.
请问
So now I'm
蜘蛛
asking,
有那么大的神通，
does spiders have
知道
such
这个人
great
就是他前世的弟弟？
paranormal power to
所以我
know
最近画了
that
一
this
幅
person is his
有
brother from past
画的
life?
是蜘蛛，
So recently I
画的是鸭
painted
子。
a
这个鸭
spider
子要
and a
吃蜘
duck,
蛛
and the duck was about to eat the spider.
啊！我在旁边写几个字，
And I wrote a few
蜘蛛
words.
说：“
The
你
spider
不要
said,
吃我，
please
因
don't
为
eat
我是
me
你前世的妈妈。”
because I am your mother from past life.
我画了一幅画，真的啊！
I painted this
看过画的
painting,
举手，
so please raise your hand if you saw it.
来，毕燕、
Bien.
颜如，还有几个上师都看过那一幅，
And several masters saw the painting.
可不可笑啊？这个用一点脑筋就可以想出
So
来。
it's what a
蜘蛛的
joke.
修行有那么好吗？
So, you know, if you think about it, you would know. How could the spider cultivate
这个蜘蛛
cultivate
是他
spiritually
前世的哥哥，
so
他
well
就认得他的弟弟。结果
that the
当弟弟
spider
的
could
认不出哥哥
recognize the brother from
当
his
然
past
蜘蛛
life?
怎么会认？但是蜘
And
蛛可以认出这个
the
人
human
是我
being
前世
cannot
的弟弟。
recognize the
那
spider.
个蜘蛛的修行多高啊，已经非常高了。
So if the spider could recognize that this person was his brother from past life, then his spiritual
这
cultivation
个
must
当
have
中
been
就
very
是有
high.
问题存在。
So there's a problem here.
所以我们很多事情
So
要
that's
合
why
理的去解释这些事情，
you want to be able to explain
非
things
常合理
logically,
的去
and
去
things
做
have
这
to
个
make
事情。
sense.
那么他可以跟任何东西讲话，
And she
我们
could
很
talk
简
to
单，
all things.
很简单。我们雷上是有很多苍蝇，
Very simple. We have many flies at the
雷
Lijiang
上是
temple,
大饭店有很多苍蝇，
at the dining room there.
苍蝇也跟他讲过话，从一
And
只
the
苍蝇
fly,
说起
one fly
苍蝇
talked
跟他讲。
to her too.
好了，很简单，要
Very
合理的
simple.
解释。
You need to
你来一趟
explain
我
it.
们西雅图雷藏寺
You came to Seattle Lijiang temple
的大饭店，那么我
and
们摆上一些
went
那
to
个
the dining room of the temple,
像龙虾啦，像鱼啊，
and then we would
像虾
serve
子那苍蝇很
lobsters,
喜欢就飞
fish,
过来
shrimps, which flies like,
你就跟他讲，
and the
拜
flies
托你
would
跟他讲，
come,
请苍蝇排列成一排，
and then we would like to ask you to tell the flies to line up.
如果排成一排，然后你叫他起步走，
And
1、2、3，苍蝇就走路啊，在桌子上走。
after you ask the flies to be in line and ask them to march, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then turn right, and then forward, backward. If you could do that, then all of True Buddha School, True Buddha Foundation, and Grandmaster will take refuge in you. So it can be tested. What she said at the Yanzi Tang, that the animal llama, like a llama, that exists in Australia. So smaller than horses. It's her disciple of 3,000 years. So her follower can ask the Lama, please nod your head if you understand X words, or lift up the 2 front legs, or you can talk to the kangaroo. Easier. So the 2 feet on the ground and 2 arms lifted up and boxing. And then if we see that, then we would accept you, and we would bow and take refuge in you and learn how to talk to the animals. But there's no use, because the animals cannot teach us Buddha Dharma, and they don't understand Buddha Dharma even if we tell them. So this is very simple. You want to be the marvel of the world, and you can show it to all the people in the world. You can ask the animals to line up, to stay in line, and then to march and to go backward and forward. It's like in Taiwan, it's like the lady who shepherded the ducks during the era of the king, the Emperor Kangxi.
这个事情是很容易的，你只要这个秀出你的这个跟动物、跟鸟讲话、讲话的这种本领。
If you train your skills to communicate with animals, actually, it's quite easy, and we will find it incredible. Like Padma Kumara, long ago, at the era of the king Dawida, there was already Padma Kumara. And the Padma Kumara that Grandmaster saw was really bright and brilliant light with no form. And that was a true vision. And then the Lotus Youth transformation, that's Bao Yi and Bao Sang youth, it was already recorded in the Jataka of Sakyamuni Buddha, of all the lives of Sakyamuni Buddha. And for Mahamudra, Adharma Buddha first transmitted to Bao Yi youth and Bao Sang youth. So today, because we practice Padma Kumara, I've talked about Padma Kumara. And Padma Kumara is truly precious, not just like what you claim to be Bodhisattva of the 5th or 6th ground. And today we will continue to expound on Lamdre. Decided and determining and selecting the fundamental continuum. Like the root of a big tree, it grows the branches, leaves, flowers, fruits, etc. So if one doesn't stride toward this path, then all results in the cause and effect of rebirth. However, if one has the affinity to encounter the skillful means of Buddha Dharma, say like the leaves, one will attain a lower career of tranquility and stoppage. Or say like the flowers, one will attain the 8 great attainments of the middling level, or like the fruits, one will attain the supreme attainments of the highest level. It is like the foundation of a tree. That's why it's called fundamental continuum. So what does it mean? It means it's connected like a tree, because there's a root, then it would become a trunk, and from the trunk, branches will grow, and from the branches there would be leaves and flowers and fruits.
这里它把它分成什么叫中品、下品。
And here it is classified as the lower level, middling level, and upper level. And the lower level, so for spiritual cultivators, they know that samsara is suffering. They want to cultivate spiritual to go to a better realm. That's the lower realm. Or in this life, you feel you're poor and you wish to become rich in your next life, or to become a king in a palace. And because we have no kings these days, or to become a president. Some people want this. They want to become a president in the next life. So they cultivate spiritually for better next lives. Say to become a president. That's for the lower level spiritual cultivators. But for the middling level, they cultivate spiritually to attain fruition. But they don't generate bodhicitta to save sentient beings. That's why they become an arhat. So the lower level is the level of human and heavenly beings, and the middling level is the level of the solitary hearers or arhats. And the upper level is for the bodhisattvas and Buddhas. Someone asked me, what is a Buddha, what is a bodhisattva, and what is an arhat? An arhat is the solitary hearer, a solitary realizer. So they have realization on themselves. So you would attain arhatship. And what is bodhisattva? Is you are awaken yourself and you also awaken others. So you have bodhicitta. You cultivate spiritually yourself and you also guide others to cultivate spiritually. And what is a Buddha? And is that you are enlightened and awakened, and their salvation of sentient beings are also perfect. So their realizations and their actions are both perfect. That's a Buddha. So if someone asks, what is a Buddha? Is the one with perfect realization and action. And what is a bodhisattva? Is awaken themselves and awakening others. And what is an arhat? Is that they are awakened themselves. Or solitary awakened. So the middling level is the arhats, and the upper level is for bodhisattvas and Buddhas. So if someone asks you, what is a Buddha? Is one with perfect realization and actions. And what is bodhisattvas? Is the one who has realization and also guiding others to have realizations. And what is in our heart is the one that's realized themselves. And they're using a tree as an analogy that the source is the same. Supplemental dharma to the rebirth and nirvana, divided into two, by relying on the body to decide whether it is rebirth or nirvana, or by relying on the mind to decide whether it is rebirth or nirvana. So our bodies are the basis for our spiritual cultivation to attain Buddhahood. You use your body to determine whether it is rebirth or nirvana. Very simply, if you have good looks, good facial look, that means you have spiritual cultivation in your past lives. So if you look nice and kind, that means you have good roots from past lives. But if your face is blackish or pale or colorless or often attached by ghosts, that showed you are unable to struggle free from it. You can't become stronger from the ghosts, stronger than the ghosts. So that's why you're invaded by the ghosts. But if you're strong, if there's a ghost, then you can clench the ghost, and you're not afraid of any ghost. That with bright radiance, all the ghosts would topple. So that showed that in the future you would reach nirvana, that you would have fruitions. So what is the signs of rebirth? At the time of death, you see the ancestors coming to meet you, then that's the end. Then you would be reborn. Or you see lots of ghosts and demons, monsters, evil spirits, or ghosts meeting you, then, oh, so bad. Then you'll fall into hell. Or if you enter into a long train, at the time of death, you see a long train, and the train is not straight, it's curved. And then you get on the train and you become a snake. Then you would be reborn as a snake. And if you see a carousel, and the one with like a palanquin with lots of legs, then you get on it, you ride on it, then you would become spiders or crabs. And if a Buddha appears, then you cannot run away, but you have to merge with the Buddha, with the Bodhisattva, with your yidam, with your protector, in order to attain their realms. Only then you would have attainments. So you need to be in control.
就是不能自主。
But if you're attached by the ghost or invaded by the ghost, that means you're not in control.
啊，连杰上师
Master 连
有
杰
收到一封信，是温哥华那边传来的，
，you
有
got
15
a
个
letter
人，
from Vancouver,
有15个人被干扰。
and there are 15 people,
哪个雷藏寺
and there 15 people
给雷藏寺留一点面子，
receive
但是他已经讲出来
disturbances. Please don't say
有
which temple.
15个人被卡音，
There are 15 people
15个
being
人受干扰
attached by
小小一个
spirits
寺，
at that small
不能
temple.
讲小小一个寺，它也是蛮大的，它也是蛮
And not that small. Actually, it's quite big.
在 Vancouver 也是蛮
In
大的，
Vancouver,
15个人被卡音，
15
这个都
people
是不能自主的。
are attached by the ghost.
为什么你会被卡
So
音？
because they're
你的阳
not
气
in
不足
control. And why are they attached by the ghost?
阴的进到
Because
你身体
they don't
里
have
面来
enough yang energy. So the yin
你受干扰
spirits or the yin
睡不
thing
好，
can get into your body.
诸事
Because you
很多
don't
的事
sleep
情
well,
你
you
就
don't
做不
eat
顺
well,
都不会顺，
things don't go
经
well,
常感觉到它在你的头上，在你肩
and you
膀
feel that they're
在
on
你
your
的身
head
体
or
里
on
面
your
在脚上
shoulders or inside your body or on your
在哪个地方
legs, feet,
经常
or
感觉
any
到
parts
它
of
在
your
干扰
body,
你，
and you feel their disturbances or
那个节
interference,
奏都不会很好，它进到
then
你
you
身
wouldn't
体
feel good about it.
你就是它的房子，
Then you
它就住到
become
你
their
的那个叫
house.
暂时。我们在密教里面就佛教里面讲暂时。
So
住
it's
到你的
like
房子里面来了，我们身体
in
就是
Buddhism, it's called like
宿舍的舍，宿舍的舍，
you're
暂住
being
你的
resided so that they take over your house, which is your body.
既然有
They take over your
15个
body.
人
It's like a
要来
house.
还境，要来
So
求加持，
there are 15 people
看
coming
看
to
多
ask for repurification.
温哥华有多少？温哥华
See how many people in
那也是
Vancouver.
重灾区啊，
So it is also a disaster area.
被那些鬼干扰。
They are disturbed by those ghosts.
我知道那些鬼经常出来，经常出
I
来，
know those ghosts
他们不是
often
7月才出来，
run around,
啊，7月是
not
鬼月
only
我
on
们
the
知道
7th
这个
lunar
7
month,
月初的时候啊，
and for us we know that the 7th month is the ghost month,
就把他收容的鬼全部放出来，
that there is a Lao Tai Gong temple in Taiwan, Lao
又
Tai
把
Gong
这些鬼
temple.
再收回，
At the beginning of the 7th
收
month,
回那个
they would let
以前
loose
来
all
关
the
的地方
ghosts, and
就
at
把
the
它关
end of the 7th
关到
month,
鬼窟里
they
面
would get them back in and then lock them in
现
there.
在是满世
But
界
now
都是
there are ghosts running around everywhere, all over the world.
这个影响非常的大，由
So
这个出了 school 所产
that's
生的
bad
鬼
effect.
非常的多，生活中所出现
So
的鬼非常的多，
there are many ghosts appeared
都被
in
所谓
Tribhuda
战士
school.
都干扰。另
There
外
are
还
many
有一
people
些
that were
还有一些
invaded
猝死的
or disturbed or killed
这个
suddenly.
不知道可以不可以讲。
Can we talk about it?
广喜雷藏寺
The one from the Guangxi Leizang
可不可以
temple.
讲
Can we talk about it?
啊？莲姐讲的，
Okay. Lian Jie said so.
Okay.
Okay.
既然莲姐说可以啊，
Because Lian Jie said, yes, you can
她
talk
也代
about it.
表中委会啊，因为中委会没有几个人在这里，中
She
委会处长在，
represents the True Buddha Foundation. So
有
how
一个
many
联东
directors of True Buddha
那莲姐都说
foundations
可以
are
讲
here?
你们都投降了，
Lian Tong and Lian Yin. And because Lian Jie said
希望
it's okay to talk
那
about
一
it,
区
so
的人
you should
大家
follow.
到广喜雷藏寺去同修。
We hope
广喜雷藏
that
寺
people from that area
那一区的人
go to Guangxi Lezang Temple to practice there, because the Guangxi Lezang Temple can protect people from that area. Because Grandmaster has performed protection and set the ceremonial or ritual demarcation around that temple. And because that temple is very close to the center of X in Taoyuan County, Guanyin Village, and they have 2 huge buildings in that several acre piece of land. And inside the buildings, she enshrined the 5 heads of ghosts. And let me tell you, there were several neighborhoods around there, and the sheriffs of the neighborhoods, so like the leaders of the neighborhoods, so 2 of the leaders of the neighborhoods talked to each other, and one of them said, "It's really strange, these few years in our neighborhoods, there were several people who died, but they're not supposed to die." And then they asked, "How many?" 5 people. "But how about your neighborhood?" 7. And not old people. So the people that are supposed to die don't die, but the people who are not supposed to die died. So 5 people died in one neighborhood and 7 died in another neighborhood, very close to X Center. And the leaders of these neighborhoods talked to each other and said, "There is no peace in our neighborhoods these years." I don't dare to say who caused it. And how about in San Francisco area, near X Temple, this kind of things happened. Did it happen there? I don't know. She often visited Vancouver, as we all know. So Vancouver also, there are many people in Vancouver who were also invaded by the ghost. So in the Guanyin district in Taoyuan County, there were 2 leaders of the neighborhoods talking to each other. 5 in one neighborhood and 7 in the other neighborhood, very close, next to X Center. So what happened there? Now I'm inviting all of you to come to the Guangxi Lezang Temple, because that Guangxi Lezang Temple is the only clean and bright lighthouse in that area. So I'm inviting all of you around the area to go there to practice. So these are all related. I saw the Dharma educators here today. So let me talk about her story. The Huangdi Leizang Temple, the Emperor Temple, unknowingly there was an earth god deity at the temple. Where did it come from? Please say. It was placed at the center of the Siddhigarbha hall, and she did not know who placed it there. And she said, "Never seen it before." So I asked them to remove it.
请下来把那个土地公拿走。
So
好了，
let's
当天晚上
take the earth
教
god
授师睡觉
away.
的时候，
So that night, when the Dharma
右边
educator
的手
slept,
一个鬼过来拉他右边的手，对不
a
对？
ghost pulled her
对啊。
right arm
拉他右边的手，拉到他手都快要断掉。
and pulled it that the arm
早
was
上
about
醒
to
过来还在痛，
break, and it
到
was
了
still
美国还在
painful
痛。
in the
是
morning
我一
and
直在
until
加持教授师的
coming here to
右手
Seattle.
左手，右手，哦，右手。
Right
这个
leg
地方
arm,
一直
right
痛。
arm. The
晚上
shoulder
梦
was
见那个
really
鬼来拉
painful
他的手，
because she dreamt there was a
拉到
ghost that
痛到快要断，
pulled her right
一直痛
arm
到美国来，是吗？
away, and it
那
was
时候
really
他跟
painful
我讲，我在
until
夹着他的手，现在好了没？
all the way
哦，
until she comes here, and then I bless her and kept
这只手
trying to bless her
一
arm,
直
and now
痛
it's
一直
cured.
痛，痛到现在。
So it was painful until now.
那鬼来拉他的手啊，
The ghost was pulling her arm apart.
所以你们有不知道的，你们
So
收
that
到
earth
的
god
土地公，全部寄给师尊。
So if you find an
我是
earth
土地
god
公收容所，
statue that you
所有的
don't
小
know
大
where it
大
came
小小的
from,
土地公，你们认为
please
说
send it to
不知道
Grandmaster.
从哪里来的，
So
或者是从
Grandmaster
他那里来的，你们全部
will collect
寄给
them
我。
all. Perhaps it came from X.
啊，我专门收集，
Or
我
any
现在
earth
收了好多
deity
土地
that
公。
you didn't know where it came from, or that you
收了，
knew came
收
from
了。
X, please send it to Grandmaster. I've collected many, maybe about 20.
快20尊了。啊，你们欢迎你们这个土地公拿过来啊！我那个土地
So
公收容所，
please send it
每一尊
to me.
统统给它收容起来。
So I'm like a
你
shelter
如
for
果
all the
遇到
earth
的道果，
earth
这样
god statues.
你就可以得到，因为你修行道果，就可以得到
If through your spiritual cultivation of Lamdre, you can attain
结果。如
the
果你没有遇到
fruitions
道
of the lower level,
你不懂
middling
得
level,
修
or
行。
the upper level. But if you
你就
don't
依照
encounter
轮回
Lamdre, you don't know
去走，
how to
整个
cultivate
道理就是
spiritually,
这样子。
then you would
配
just
轮内
follow
意思
your rebirth.
所依
That's what it
生判
meant.
俱轮内，以生脉判俱
By
轮内。
relying on the
很
body,
好，
divided into
你
four,
身
the
体
body
的脉，
channels.
你身体的脉
So the
可
channels
以
inside your
轮回，
body
也可以涅槃，
can determine whether you will be reborn or
也可以有成就，也可
going
以
into
跟
nirvana.
普通人一模一样。
So you can have
因为你
attainments,
修理
or
的
you
脉，
can just be ordinary
你的脉
as the
通了，
mundane being. Because when you
你
practice
自
your
然
central
能够
channel
把你的心
and the
气由
central
你
channel
的
is
中脉
open
到
and
顶窍，
flowing,
由顶窍出
you
去，
can transport
你
your
就可以有
mind
成就。
qi
这顶窍
to
一
the
一出去
crown and to
就是
transport
下
it
品，
out
就
of
是
your
中品，就
body.
是上品。
Then you will
你
reach
从
either
下
the
面一
lower,
出去，就
middling,
是
or the
地
upper
狱
level.
恶鬼畜生。
But if you
地狱
leave
出去
from the
就是
bottom,
人道，
then you would go to
人
the animal, hell, or hungry ghost, and from the navel, that would be the human realm.
都是鬼道、恶鬼道跟地狱道。从你的五官里面，
And
眼
if
睛
it's
出去，
for the
你就到
5
水煮，
orifices
就变成
of your
地
face, then you would
你
become
从你的
fish.
耳朵出去，
From
从
the
你的鼻
eyes,
子出去，从你
From
的
the
嘴巴出
ears,
去，
from the nose,
你
from
就
the
变
mouth,
成畜生。
then you would become animals,
畜生道、
the animal realms.
人道、
And the human
恶
realm
鬼道、
from the
地狱
navel,
道。
and then
这边
the
顶
hungry
窍
ghost and the hell realm at the
就是
from the
上
bottom.
品、中品、下品，
And from the
师
top
尊
of
这
the
里
head,
开一个
then
顶窍
you would reach the lower, middling, or the
大家
upper
来
level.
大家来摸一摸，
See, Grandmasters has opened his
摸一
crown.
次5块美元。
I welcome you
顺便做生意。
to touch it, and to you touch it once for $5.
跟大家开玩笑的，
then I would have good business. No, just kidding. Grandmaster never asked for any money. That's just a joke.
所以从你的身体就可以判别到
So from your
你
body,
自己
you can determine
能不能有
whether
成
you
就，
would have attainment or not.
知道你
From your
可以
channels inside your body, you would know.
这个叫做天窍。
This is called the heavenly
眼睛出去
opening
的
or
都是对
orifice. If you leave from the eyes, you become
就
fish.
是
From the ears,
大象，
you would become
大
elephants.
象，嘴巴出去，
From the mouth,
鼻子出去的都是畜生，都是畜生道。
or from the nostrils, you would
从
become
肚脐出
animals.
去的，你的灵魂
And
从肚脐
if
出去
your
的
soul
人道
leaves from the
转世
navel,
为人，
then you
因为
would be
人是从
reborn
肚脐
as
所
a
生
human
的
being.
斗
Because
宅
a human being is born
它叫
from
斗宅
the
人就是
navel.
人道，就是从肚脐啊。你出生的时候不是留一条肚脐，跟母亲的这个好像是说这个营养品都从这个肚脐来。那底下的大香小香的出处，不是第一道
That's-
就是恶鬼道。
And then from the two orifices or the
这
two
样解释
holes at
明
the
白了吗？
bottom, then that would be the
所
ghosts,
以你的
hungry
身体
ghosts
里面，你就
or
可以知道你将来要到哪里
hells.
去。真正的内行人，他们知道。
So from the
所
body,
以光
you would
阴
know
牵世法，
where you
光
would
阴
go,
牵世法，
and the masters would know.
把你的顶窍这里，赶快用指示
So
你的灵魂
guiding
从这个
the
顶窍出
souls
去
at the time of death
这种方法
is you guide the
开
person
天门，
to leave
闭地府，
the
塞
body
人道，
from the
阻
top of the
鬼路，
crown. That's like opening the gate to the heaven
开天门
and
啊
closing
闭
the
地府
doors to the hell, to human realms,
把这些
and to the path
弄
of
给他
ghost.
给他
So all the other
这个
orifices
所有的这边的窍
are closed.
七窍，全部把它封闭，把人道封闭，
and
把
the
地狱道、
navel
恶
or
鬼道
for the umbilical cord,
只存
they were
下
all being
这
closed.
个天窍这里让你出去。
The only
灵
hole
魂从这里只能够
that's
挣扎到这
open
里
is from the
叫
top
做
of the
光
head,
阴牵世法
and this is called the guiding
叉叉也很厉
at
害
the。time of death.
他说他可以出神，从这个顶窍
And
出去
exclaimed
人家做观音
that
牵世
she could
这个
leave
我不能
her body and soul
师
travel
尊是不可
and
能
to
出
guide
神
another
去帮你做
person
观音牵世法，
to live through the top of the head.
给你加
Grandmaster
持，
could never do that.
然后
Grandmaster
加
just
持
bless
就是
you.
等于是这种超度你。
It's the same as
不能跟你做
performing
观音
bardo deliverance, but I
任何一个
cannot
大和尚也
perform
不可能
the
人家
guiding
做出神
of
去
the
做
soul
观音
at the
牵世
time of death through soul
法，他
travel
什么都会。
and not in person. No other
他可以
person
出神
can
去
do that.
做
But
观音牵世
exclaim that she
我
could
说
do
这是
anything.
因为他
And I
常
said,
常到马哈双年城跟我开会啊，
that's BS.
我就知道他胡扯啊。
And
因
she
为从来没
claimed
有一
that
次我见到他，
she often went to Mahat Twin Lotus Ponds to have meetings with me. That's definitely BS because I never
我
saw
也是吹
her.
牛嘛，对不对？我人在
So
台湾的时
everything
候
is
啊，
just
他说他到大溪地去看我，看我穿着
a
短
brag.
裤在沙滩上走来
She
走
was
去。
just bragging. And when I was in Taiwan, she claimed that she went to Tahiti
算
and
现
saw
在
me wearing short walking on the
进
beach.
去
You know how
跟
many
猪照
days
一
I
样就出
stayed
来了。
there? Only a
我
very
是要证明我有去
short
过大
few
溪
days. I just
我
went
只是
there
跟猪
to
照
have my
相
picture
为什
taken
么
with the
我说我要
pigs.
到大
That's
溪
it.
地是养猪啊？
Why? Because I
这
said
方法叫做
that
杨子金母教我的
I will
你去大
raise
溪地
pigs
走一
in
趟
Tahiti because
去了
Golden
很
Mother
快你就回来。
instructed me to go to Tahiti for a very
有
short
几个
time
人跟
and
我
come
去？
back. How many people went with me? Sanifa here, she's at the translation room.
另外那个莲花树
And Lianhua Suming also went with me. And Simu went with me too. I didn't go by myself. There were several people followed me there for a few days, a few short days, and we came back. And yet, she said that she traveled out of body to see Grandmaster. But actually, I stayed in Taiwan and lived in seclusion for 3.5 years. So I was in Taiwan and I heard that she traveled out of body and saw me in Tahiti walking on the beach. That was totally made up. They're all
北插七的，他应该是不止北插七的，他北插扎。
She's just total fake. She's total nonsense. She lies. She's just total scum.
Oh, 他这里有提到中脉通最重要，因为中脉如果通，
And it mentioned here that central channel is the most important, because if central channel is open and flowing, then your soul can leave from the top of the head, and you would definitely have fruition, so you can reach the different levels of the fruitions. And you use the channel seeds to determine rebirth or nirvana. Body channels is the 4 rebirth channels and so on as rebirth, and the central channel as nirvana. And I have talked about rebirth, and I've talked about central channel. If central channel is open and flowing, then you are guaranteed to leave. But if the central channel is not open and flowing, then you will still be reborn. I heard a Dharma sister said, I will not mention her name, but she will write it about it. She never meditate. This Dharma sister wrote that she never meditated. She never meditates. And Australia, Sanmin chapter, the 2 Caucasians, you practice meditation there, and X visited their place. So the one who never meditates was teaching people who meditate. According to what I know, X never knows how to meditate. If you never meditate, how can you have your central channel open? That I would never believe that. That's all for today. Om Mani Padme Hum.